Stop for a moment and think. You work to earn money. But does your money work for you? This simple question can change the way you see your financial life. Many people spend their whole lives trading hours for money. They wake up early, face traffic, keep schedules, deliver results. At the end of the month, the paycheck arrives, but it goes away as fast as it came. Electricity bill, rent, groceries, credit card, and suddenly all you did was survive another month. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine waking up knowing that, even while you were sleeping, your money was in motion. It was growing, producing, generating results, without you needing to be present all the time. That's what Robert Kiyosaki means when he says the key to financial freedom is making money work for you, not the other way around. But how does this happen in practice? The answer is in assets. These are investments that generate income even when you're not there. A rented property, stocks that pay dividends, a business that runs with a team without you needing to be at the counter all the time. These sources of passive income become little financial soldiers working silently for you every day. So, think carefully. Are you living to pay bills? Or are you building a life where money starts little by little to work for you? This reflection is the first step to change everything. You don't need to be rich to start, but you need to start to one day be financially free. Do you remember school? Multiplication tables, history, geography, chemistry formulas. But did anyone teach you how to deal with money? How to invest? How to get out of debt or multiply? What you earn? No. And that's exactly the point Robert Kiyosaki raises. The traditional educational system doesn't prepare anyone for the real world of finance. That's what happened with Helena. She studied, graduated, got a good job, but years later found herself in debt, without an emergency fund and afraid of the future. The truth is, she knew everything about literature, but almost nothing about managing her own salary. Until one day, while flipping through a book, she read something that awakened her. Financial education is the most powerful weapon you can have to change your life. That's when everything started to change. Helena didn't wait for an expensive course or someone to teach her. She started simple: YouTube videos, accessible books, podcasts during traffic. Slowly, she understood terms like compound interest, inflation, investments, passive income, assets, and liabilities. And the more she learned, the more confident she became. Her decisions improved. She stopped being a hostage to her paycheck and started being the owner of her own money. Because that's what financial education does. It doesn't promise you overnight wealth. It gives you tools to build your freedom step by step. And the best part? Your age doesn't matter. You can start today with what you have, with what you know, because knowledge is like a seed. The sooner you plant it, the sooner you start to harvest. For years, Marcos thought he was doing well financially. He had a new car, a beautiful house, top-notch furniture, but at the end of the month, money was always tight, always struggling, even earning a good salary, until a friend asked him a simple question: what in your life puts money in your pocket and what takes it out? Marcos was silent. That's when he discovered a concept that changed everything: the difference between assets and liabilities, one of the pillars taught by Robert Kiyosaki. In simple words, assets are everything that generates income. They put money in your pocket. Example: a rented apartment, stocks that pay dividends, a business that generates profit without depending solely on your time. Liabilities are everything that generates expenses. They take money out of your pocket. Example: a car that you need to fuel, insure, maintain, or even a house you own that generates property tax, condo fees, repairs, and doesn't bring you direct financial return. Yes, it may sound strange to think your house can be a liability, but Kiyosaki explains, if it doesn't generate income and still requires monthly costs, it's draining your money, not multiplying it. When Marcos understood this, his mind opened. He stopped buying things that only looked like wealth and started investing in real assets. Little by little, he built a small investment portfolio, rented out a property, and even started a small e-commerce business with his wife. Result? Money started coming in even when he wasn't actively working. That's the magic of knowing the difference between assets and liabilities. You stop appearing rich and start building real wealth. When most people think of intelligence, they imagine someone good at math, reading, or logic. But there is a form of intelligence that few talk about, and that can change your life: financial intelligence. Robert Kiyosaki explains that it's not enough to earn money. You need to know what to do with it. This was the great lesson Paula learned. She earned well, worked hard, had a good position, but still lived worried about the future. Whenever the paycheck came, it evaporated. Impulse purchases, installments, and cards, financing, and always that feeling that something was out of place. Until one day, at a finance lecture, she heard a phrase that kept hammering in her head. It's not how much you earn that matters. It's how much you can keep, multiply, and protect. That's when she understood. She needed to develop her financial intelligence. That doesn't mean memorizing formulas or becoming an economist. It means learning simple but powerful things like how to organize your budget strategically, how to create an emergency fund, how to invest safely and understand risks, how to identify opportunities and avoid financial traps, how to protect your assets against unforeseen events. Paula started slowly. She wrote down all expenses, discovered where money slipped away unnoticed, cut excesses, started investing consciously, and above all began making decisions with more clarity, not with haste, fear, or impulse. Developing financial intelligence is like strengthening a muscle. At first it seems difficult, but with practice and consistency, you begin to see results. And the most important, it gives you freedom. Freedom to choose, plan, rest, and even dream. Carlos was always a careful person. He avoided anything that seemed risky. He didn't invest, didn't start projects, didn't change jobs. He preferred to stay where he was, even if unhappy. After all, he thought, better to secure the little I have than risk and lose everything. But over time, he realized something. While he stayed still, others were growing. Some colleagues started small businesses, others learned to invest, some changed fields and doubled their salaries. Then he understood what Kiyosaki always says: financial growth requires risks, but calculated risks. That doesn't mean acting on impulse or betting everything at once. It means studying, understanding, preparing, and then making decisions with courage and strategy. Carlos decided to take the first step. He studied investments, started small, testing and observing, then took a course and planned a project he had kept in the drawer for years. And even afraid, he went for it. Not everything worked the first time, but with each attempt he learned, and over time he harvested results he would never have seen if he had stayed still. The fear of losing is natural, but as Kiyosaki says, the biggest risk is doing nothing. Staying still seems safe, but in reality, it's what can keep you stuck in the same place for years. Taking calculated risks is what allows you to grow, learn, and reach the financial freedom so many desire. One of the biggest obstacles for those wanting financial freedom is the misuse of debt. Robert Kiyosaki makes clear that debt itself is not necessarily bad. The problem lies in how it's used. Most people see debt as something negative, and rightly so, if we think about debts that only take money out of the pocket. But the truth is, there are two types of debt: bad and good. Understanding this difference can completely change how you handle money. Bad debt is the one made impulsively, without planning, and that brings no return. Examples of this are excessive installments on credit cards, personal loans with high interest rates, financing to buy things that lose value over time, like electronics or used cars. This type of debt becomes a burden. It compromises part of your income, causes anxiety, and often becomes a snowball. Each month, the interest increases, and getting out of the hole seems more and more difficult. On the other hand, there is good debt, which is used strategically, with the goal of generating income or value in the future. Examples: a loan to buy a property that will be rented out, a low-interest loan to invest in your own business, using credit to buy merchandise that will be resold at a profit. The key here is simple. Good debt works in your favor, helping build assets, that is, things that put money in your pocket. But even good debt needs to be used responsibly. This means making detailed planning, having a safety reserve, evaluating risks and returns, controlling terms and interest rates, never taking on more than you can pay. The mistake many make is thinking that by using debt to start a business or invest, they're automatically doing something smart. But without study, preparation, and control, that debt can also become a problem. Another important point is knowing how to get out of bad debts. It starts with organization. Write down everything you owe, list the interest rates, negotiate with creditors when possible, and create a plan to pay off the most expensive debts first. At the same time, it's essential to control spending and avoid new unnecessary debts. Learning how to manage debt is a powerful skill. It's what separates those who live just to pay bills from those who use credit as a tool to grow financially. Those who understand this are no longer slaves to money. They learn to make decisions consciously and take firm steps toward financial independence. Relying on just one source of income is one of the biggest financial risks anyone can take. Robert Kiyosaki often warns about this. Having only a salary as your sole income is like walking across a narrow bridge without protection. If something happens, like losing your job or facing a crisis, everything collapses. True financial security isn't about how much you earn per month, but about how many different ways you have to make money. This is called income diversification. Multiple sources of income act as pillars. If one fails, the others continue to support your financial life. That's what brings peace of mind. And more. That's what accelerates the growth of your wealth. Here are some examples of income sources you can build. Active income. This depends directly on your work. It can be a fixed salary, a service you provide, commissions, freelance jobs, or consulting. It's important, but shouldn't be your only source. Passive income. Money that comes in even when you're not actively working. Examples include rental income, stock dividends, royalties from books or music, profits from businesses you own shares in, among others. Own business. Starting a small business, an online store, or a specialized service. With time and the right structure, this business can operate even when you're not present all the time. Investments. When you invest money wisely, whether in stocks, real estate funds, bonds, it begins to work for you. Compound interest and reinvested profits increase your earnings over time. You don't need to start all at once. The most important thing is to take the first step. Identify a skill, knowledge, or idea that you can turn into extra income. Start. Small, but start. Over time, you'll build a safety net. Each new income source reduces your dependence on a single income and increases your freedom of choice. If one day you want to change careers, take longer vacations, or even retire earlier, these alternative sources will be essential. Building multiple income streams is not just a smart strategy, it's a necessity in today's world. And the sooner you start, the faster you will feel the benefits of this freedom. Many people enter the job market with one goal in mind: to earn money. The focus is on the salary, the benefits, what will land in the bank account at the end of the month. But there's a secret that truly successful people discover early. Work should not only be a source of income, but also a source of learning. When you work only for money, you become dependent on it. But when you work to learn, to acquire new skills, understand how things work behind the scenes, develop your financial intelligence, you're building something much more powerful than any amount of money. You're building freedom. Learning about communication, leadership, sales, finance, investments, and even how to deal with difficult people. All of this turns into tools that open doors and create new opportunities. What you know becomes an asset that no one can take away from you. Money may run out, but knowledge remains. It's the foundation that supports your life, even when everything around seems uncertain. That's why you should never stop seeking knowledge. Read, listen, observe, study. The more you learn, the more prepared you become to seize opportunities when they arise, and the more prepared you are, the further you can go. True financial freedom begins in the mind. Invest in it every day. The journey to financial independence is not always easy. It's normal to face doubts, obstacles, and even moments of discouragement. But the greatest barrier lies within our own mind. Believing in your potential is the first step to turning dreams into reality. Inside you, there is a strength capable of learning, growing, and changing your financial story, step by step. Even if the progress is small, like saving a little each month or seeking new information about money every day, you are building a solid path for your future. Don't let the fear of making mistakes paralyze your actions. Every experience, whether good or bad, brings a lesson that brings you closer to success. The people who achieve financial freedom are those who persist, seek knowledge, and believe it is possible to improve. The journey may be challenging, but it's possible, and you are completely capable. Stay strong, invest in yourself, and never stop believing in the power of the transformation within you. Money is not just a matter of numbers, but also of emotions. Often people make financial decisions based on fear, anxiety, or momentary excitement, and end up harming themselves. Controlling your emotions is essential to stay focused on your long-term goals. Impulses, like buying something expensive just to impress or selling an investment at the first drop, can disrupt your entire plan. Learning to deal with fear and greed, the two emotions that most affect finances, is an important step to staying calm even in difficult times. When you develop this emotional intelligence, you can analyze situations clearly and act more wisely. This means your decisions will be guided by reason, not fleeting feelings. And this emotional discipline is one of the biggest differences between those who achieve financial freedom and those trapped in cycles of debt and regret. Controlling emotions is not something you learn overnight, but constant practice makes you stronger and better prepared to face any financial challenge. When we talk about investing, one of the most important rules you should learn is, don't put all your eggs in one basket. This means you should never concentrate all your money in a single type of investment. Diversifying investments is a smart way to protect your assets. Imagine you have everything invested in the stocks of just one company, and suddenly it faces a crisis. The impact on your finances would be much greater than if you had spread your money across stocks, real estate, funds, and even an emergency reserve. Each type of investment carries its own level of risk and potential return. By diversifying, you balance these factors, making your money work more safely and efficiently. Diversification doesn't mean you need to have many different investments all at once. Start slowly with what you understand and expand your portfolio. As you gain more knowledge and confidence, over time, this strategy helps ensure that even if one investment doesn't perform well, the others can offset losses and keep your wealth growing. We live in a world where everything seems to need to be fast. People want immediate results, quick gains, ready-made solutions. But when it comes to building real wealth, haste is the enemy of consistency. Wealth doesn't appear overnight. It's the result of well-made choices, repeated with discipline. over time. It's like planting a tree. You water it today, care for it tomorrow, protect it from harsh sun, and only after a while does it begin to bear fruit. The same goes for your investments, financial education, and mindset shift. Having patience means accepting that there will be ups and downs. It's understanding that the market fluctuates, that sometimes you need to give up immediate pleasure to achieve a greater victory in the future. Those who have patience learn to respect the process, and most importantly, those who have patience build on a solid foundation without risky shortcuts or falling for promises of easy wealth. So, if you're just getting started, keep going. If you've already begun, don't stop. Consistency will take you further than any impulse. Time becomes your ally when you know how to use it wisely. We've reached the end of this journey through the principles that can transform your financial life. Now you know that to achieve freedom and security, it's not enough to just work hard. You need to make money work for you, invest in knowledge, distinguish assets from liabilities, develop your financial intelligence, take calculated risks, manage debt strategically, diversify your sources of income, set clear goals, choose your company wisely, and use tax laws to your advantage. Put each of these steps into practice, one at a time. Start today by studying, planning, and taking action. Regularly review your progress, adjust your goals, and celebrate every achievement, no matter how small it may seem. Remember that true wealth isn't just about your bank balance, but about the freedom to choose and the peace of knowing you're in control of your financial future. So what are you going to apply from now on to transform your relationship with money? Leave your comment, share your experiences, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. See you next time.